beam pulls and the limitations of that. You look at OMG and everything just looks like a mess right now, and that's why they're sitting in last place with no wins.
It's not looking good so far for OMG. They did take one game against V5, so they have had moments of showing up like a middle-of-the-table team. And let's bear in mind that the teams that they have played so far, EDG, V5, RNG, still seems weird to me to say V5 in that as a solid team, but these are all at least middle-of-the-table teams.
Yeah, and so far, we are in draft, and draft panning out in a way we'd expect. I'd say the one standout is the fact that TS have banned the set, so not wanting to opt into that themselves. And of course, set is very strong on Rek'Sai since he's a flex pick, so you can't hold onto a champion like that until the very end of the draft. And Ezreal's just an expected first pick at this point. His win rate climbing all the way up to 65%.
Ezreal, insanely strong, especially if you can get the Yuumi. It wasn't banned away. And OMG, I mean, they could opt to try and steal the Yuumi away.
I just think they'll take the Aphelios. SMLZ has preferred Aphelios over Ezreal. He's played Aphelios 5 times this split, you know, in however many series they've played, and only played the Ezreal and Karsa once. So 3 series, 5 Aphelios games is a lot.
Yeah, the big problem that they've had, though, is that SMLZ has been getting caught out on that Aphelios multiple times in their recent series. We've seen him mispositioning. Hopefully, he can fix that up a little bit. We talked about Karsa's Lee Sin. Hacker's going to take it away from him.
And this is an interesting thing for people who don't know out there is
instant answer.
Hacker doesn't play Graves. He hasn't opted to play this split, at least. It's been Trundle, Lee, Olaf, Jarvan. So the fact that he's staying away from such an important meta pick is very scary, but going to that Rek'Sai that you talked about,
yeah.
Karsa is another one, just like Xiaopeng. You go to Karsa's solo queue account, and he is just spamming and loving the Rek'Sai. Of course, his champion's all about getting these early game ganks off. Very different from Lee Sin, because Lee Sin still offers a lot in the mid to late game. Rek'Sai doesn't.
Well, you asked for the Lulu in the first series.
And
We're
this
not
is
going to get it.
LPL, Munchables. We don't get Lulu over here, which is kind of strange because we were talking about this before broadcast, that if there's any team who support might play it, it would have been OMG.
So talk to me a little bit about Lulu. Why is it that you want to see Lulu? What makes it so good?
The great thing about it is, one, you can obviously shield all the poke coming out from the Yuumi. You can also Whimsy the AD carry, so going to be very easy to find return damage in those trades. And just pairing it up alongside a hyper carry like an Aphelios allows you to match the scaling of something like an Ezreal Yuumi in the late game. So
right,
again, well, a lot of good things there. But instead, LPL,
hey,
we don't like that.
I already said before, SMLZ has been mispositioning it a little bit. Thresh can be the answer to that. Well, Cold can help him get out of those situations.
Right. Our answer to Ezreal Yuumi in the LPL is trying to find things with lots of engage and pick potential. It's strange that we don't actually try to dive the Ezreal Yuumi. We just try to win out on other sides of the map, it seems like, technically. And obviously it hasn't worked out by the fact that we saw the Ezreal has, you know, like a 65% win rate.
We're going to see Diana and Echo banned away here. 2 of the picks that we've seen Knight tending to in the past, especially that Diana who's been playing a ton in solo queue. But the Azir picked up by Icon here.
And Icon is a LeBlanc Zoe aficionado in my mind. He plays these 2 champions extremely well. Arguably, I'd say you could say he's top 6 in the league when he has these champions. But outside of that is where he really starts to look a bit mediocre. On the side of OMG, though, you do have the potential put-togethers of a strong front-to-back team composition. The thing I don't like is you are outranged by the fact that they do have this Ezreal and Yuumi on the other side, and Knight going for the Akali. I mean, he's going to be looking for blood in this game.
We've seen the Akali, actually the Kayle to answer for Curse in the top lane. Well, we said Curse has been the standout so far. It's a 100% win rate, kind of similar to the Kassadin. Let's talk a bit about the Akali quickly first, though, because Knight, I mean, we've seen Akali a few times in the LPL. It hasn't looked good so far. If anyone's going to make it work, it's probably Knight.
Akali just has such a rough early laning phase, and it's like last split, right? We saw these champions like Sylas and Diana in mid lane not pan out because teams would just, they'd have too much priority to go and do things around the map. The thing I like about this is you also have the Rek'Sai in jungle, so you have a very strong 2v2 once Akali gets some levels, hits that level 6 mark, especially once she picks up the Gunblade. So maybe we can see some action and start getting Knight ahead early on.
And especially with that Rek'Sai in the jungle, you expect Karsa to be being pretty proactive in the early game. It's going to be him up against Hacker. Hacker taking away the signature Lee Sin from Karsa. Karsa going to answer with that kind of would-be counter to the Lee Sin in the Rek'Sai.
Yep, and again, we were already touching on that Lee Sin isn't exactly this champion that I feel like a lot of people make it out to be, this straight-up early game pick. That's more like an Elise and a Rek'Sai in my mind, where once we get to mid and late game team fights, you have no function at all, right? Rek'Sai has no other choice other than to go in. You're very squishy, your damage doesn't scale too well, so you pretty much just die if you're not ahead. Lee will always have a function. Peeling for his 80 carry with that kick also does have a lot of mobility from his W, so it just gives him a lot of options to play with. Also,
when you get to the late game, if you get to a good flank position, you can still always make that kick that just wins the game, right?
Exactly.
If you're a good enough Lee Sin,
so,
that's one of the deciders.
You're not like a Trundle, a Sejuani, anything like this, but you still have room to play with as compared to something like a Rek'Sai or an Elise.
Going into game, we can continue this conversation if the game does go relatively slow towards the start, but we are on to Summoner's Rift to kick off Top Esports up against OMG. I'm curious, Lyric, where you think Icon fits into that conversation of best mid laner. Probably not at all.
Sorry, Icon and Icon fans, but not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Where do you think he's about to have a late surge?
I mean, he has been around since 2016 spring, and I'm not saying anything's possible, but anything's possible.
True. The guy's 24. I looked it up earlier on. I can't remember why.
He's, I was going to say, I guess, in the league community's mind, or not the community, it seems like. Seems like fans don't agree, but in teams' minds, that's old, but still a pretty young guy.
There is one guy. Who was the guy you talked about earlier that was like 30 years old?
Oh, there's
something.
Joker Joker qualified for LCK when he was 27, which was on Sandbox at the beginning of last year, and obviously played on Sandbox while he was 28 years old. BRTT also, up there, 28 as well. So
Pasha
we do got
biceps.
some players. Pasha biceps. Not exactly our game, but...
Oh dear. Well, let's get back into the world of League of Legends here, and look at the starting items from Top Esports. Everyone going for a Doran's Shield. Everyone just saying, look, we don't want to fight you right now.
No, and that's what you would expect, right? Especially in the mid lane, the Akali going to get punished by the Azir. We also see her taking fleet footwork, and Icon going with the aggressive route of taking that comment, looking to kind of get every small advantage that he can. One thing I want to keep my eye on this game is if 369 is going to elect to go for the bounce back top and then try to get to the lane to a state where Karsa has a very easy gank over that terrain.
We'll see. Karsa going to be moving towards that top side already. And you mentioned it before. We could very well have a lot of action towards that top side. Hacker on Lee Sin versus Karsa on the Rek'Sai. Skill's taking a good amount of damage here. We talked about it in the last series as well. Ornn, when he gets his basic items, it's a pretty large spike at level 3. He can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons why he's been in the meta as pretty much the only tank for a long time, right? We've had Maokai pop his head in a little bit in spring, but Ornn having his full presence because he is so strong within the laning phase still scales up as that tank.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of strong in every context, right? That's what makes him such a powerful pick. Is there's not very many... Like, when you think about picking Maokai, there are clear negatives to picking that champion. When you think about picking Ornn, it's really hard to justify not just doing it, right?
And then you think about a problem with a lot of tanks like Maokai is that they are sustained, like, HP tanks. They don't really have anything in their kit that buffs their resistances as compared to Ornn and his passive. So, Ornn has everything, right? He has good scaling off resistances, has percent HP damage, has a good laning phase, is a great frontliner, has a long-range engage tool which punishes champions like Azir and Cassiopeia.
Smart to see taking huge damage from JackeyLove there. But yeah, and as you've listed so many positives, we've not even got around to the fact that he also buffs everyone else's items on the team, just as like icing on the top there.
Yeah, there's
a lot of reasons to pick Ornn.
There are, and in spring, Ornn was another champion we didn't care about. While the whole rest of the world loved Ornn, we cared about Renekton.
Yeah. But, I mean, we did still see a good amount of Ornn, but considering how strong he was and is, like, I feel like we should see more.
Sir, we saw Ornn on Zoom in Morgan. Who else did we see Ornn from? Longxing sometimes?
The only games I remember is Morgan, I'm afraid. I've forgotten everyone else. I only have eyes for Morgan.
Right now, OMG are stacking a wave into TS's bot lane. They do have priority mid, so if they did want to look for some kind of play, we could see them setting it up. But also good pathing by Karsa to make sure he's on the bot side right now, just in case OMG were going to look for any shenanigans.
Actually, I figured it out. We saw the Shy on Ornn and he picked Doran's Blade.
Yes, he did.
There you go. There's your answer. Karsa moving down to the bottom side to try and potentially make a play, but he's spotted on the ward as he moves into this jungle. Hacker, knowing that Karsa's moved away, might try and make a play in the bottom lane, but I think he's decided against it in the end.
Oh my god, Hacker's going to be unlucky.
What? Oh, he stays. Does he know? He obviously has read that this is a potential play. He stayed here for so long, but so has Karsa. They're going to 1v1 under the tower. Hacker's like, wait a second. SMLZ now having to use the heal very early on into the fight, but it's Karsa that's low, and he's going to go down first blood to the Aphelios, and now Icon goes in. But he has absolutely no mana, so JackeyLove walks away.
Still, that was great sense coming out from Hacker, and I like how they set that play, right? They were stacking up the wave, which put them in a dangerous position. Obviously, very hard for them to dive as an Aphelios Thresh against an Ezreal Yuumi, but still just using that as bait for Karsa to come, and Hacker's patience paying off.
Yeah, and you know, he waited for a long time to make that play happen. I'm glad that it worked out for him, because if not, that would have felt real bad for him. But Karsa being punished for the play, and now a TP up to the top side from Knight. Karsa using his ultimate very early on with the perfect execution here. Surely Knight. Oh no! Sure. Oh, sure it can flip to get close. I thought they'd completely messed that one up.
And that would have been surprising, but that's why we freaked out, because this is Knight. Knight doesn't make those mistakes, but Knight just baiting us, making us think he did, and
he had it under control.
I also think it was interesting that Icon TP'd bot, gave up what looked like a wave or a wave and a half, and again, he had no mana, and their enemy bot lane has exhaust, so not able to pull off anything anyway, so big misstep from Icon. And we talked about this for Curse. What would happen if he did start off as, you know, like a 0-1, 0-2 Kayle, and now 369 also getting a huge advantage in CS, and Curse losing a bunch of not only gold, but XP to turret.
Now, you can see on your minimap there as well, Curse was even being denied access
zoning him off
to his own turret right there by 369. Hacker's moved in on the bottom side towards this red buff though. Karsa smites it just not too early. In fact, it was Karsa smite.
Still, it's good to see OMG putting up a fight, but we have seen this before from OMG, right? They took a game off Victory 5. They should have won that game against EDG. I think it was heartbreaking, especially for you, who was there.
I was there. I don't know if heartbreaking is the word, just like disappointing, honestly.
Yeah.
That was a one game. That was a game that was in the books. And you know, OMG, like, one of the things we were talking about off stage before we came on today was that, like, you know, OMG is a team with so much history behind them, so much talent on the roster, that you want them to do well, but it's kind of hard to get behind this team right now with the way that they've been performing so far in summer. It's kind of hard to get excited about this squad.
It is, but not excited if they start becoming a team that makes plays around bot early on.
I'd love to see it. Cold on the Thresh has the ability to make these plays, but obviously against Ezreal Yuumi, it is always going to be difficult to force plays, but maybe not if Icon and Hacker move down as well. JackeyLove and yuyanjia are in trouble. There are no TPs available. They're 1v4 right here. They can't do the Kramer. They can't force the minion wave away. Kicked out of the tower range and will be finished off. Hacker gets low, but they can't finish the kill. This will be both going the way of OMG.
Yeah, Knight tried to make it down in time, but it was a pretty doomed scenario. It was actually great by Curse to spot out Karsa on that Herald.
Ooh, it is going to be Karsa grabbing the Herald, though. Curse is going to try and bully him, but he'll be able to crawl away.
Yeah, can't trade for too long. Of course, Ornn is able to follow and has that huge range.
And that's another massive minion wave that's going to crash into the tower. Curse, you can see him on your minimap once again, is going to struggle to get on in here.
Yeah, and this is just 369 completely bullying out Curse. I probably expect him to even just drop Herald top because it's so close to going down.
Yeah, and I think when you've already got this lead, why not compound it, right? Why not help him out? It does give Curse a bit of a longer lane to farm in, though.
That is true, and obviously that's not something you want against the Kayle, and something Kayle feels fine, right? If Karsa can try to, like, pull the wave and freeze, which isn't a very LPL thing.
I don't think Top Esports mind, though. I think they're going to make this play happen. Oh, here we go on a journey. Karsa follows the lantern, and Cold has bitten off more than he can chew. That was hilarious, and now on towards Karsa as well.
That is great because, right, you pull Lee Sin in with the lantern. If Rek'Sai falls, it should be a 2v1, but Yuumi showing once again why she is the menace of competitive League of Legends.
And you know what? Why not go for this top tower, but give the gold over to JackeyLove instead? You don't have to give the gold over to 369 on the Ornn. Give it to your carry.
It makes no sense to give it over to the Ornn anyway. Putting it on JackeyLove, or if you could have put it on Knight, is the move that makes a lot of sense. So I like this play coming out from them. Of course, Knight going to benefit a lot from a long lane as well. Akali not exactly a champion that I'd say thrives in the split push, in the sense that, sure, you do great in the isolated 1v1, you do great in the side lane, but in a lot of matchups, you aren't the type of champion that is able to chip down turrets.
Yeah, even if you get alone time on a turret, it takes you a long time to actually take it.
Maybe he could this game because of how far behind Karsa is. Him sitting in that side lane against Karsa, he should be able to get Karsa to blow his ultimate, like, fine, and then be able to have that dive pressure on him.
And one of the things to mention as well is because Icon made a couple of these roams around the early game, Knight's actually ahead in CS in that mid lane right now. He started to build himself up a lead. He's over 10 CS per minute so far. And you expect him to be able to snowball that.
I remember Akali last split, before she got, not last split, last season, before she got all the nerfs. So she was really strong in laning phase, really strong in the isolated 1v1 and side lanes, and she'd be able to buy so much time for her team. I remember that's when Tahm Kench support was being played, so they have a very strong follow-up with the Abyssal Voyage, and it was not a pretty sight. Akali needed those nerfs.
Yeah, Akali was so insane. And Akali was one of those champions, honestly, where last season I felt like she needed to be banned more than she was. I felt like a lot of teams disrespected the sheer power she brought to it.
I agree. She was played so much. And again, rightfully got nerfed many, many times. And now Knight's in a position where he has the Gunblade as compared to Karsa, who doesn't. So going to do great in a side lane.
It's going to be OMG, though, that grab themselves a dragon here. This is their second one of the game, but it's going to be Ocean next.
So what you're telling me is 4 Oceans for Top Esports?
Potentially, yeah, because they're hitting some power spikes. In the next 5 minutes, they're going to be able to fight. You'll be able to see JackeyLove finish off his Iceborne Gauntlet before that next Drake. Or potentially. I would expect him to, though. He's got 3 components here.
We're also seeing one of the benefits of an Azir right now, to where you're one of the only champions that can safely farm 1v2 mid against the bot lane, so you still can have that scenario where you keep your Aphelios Thresh bot, feel fine, and can pressure turrets better against the Ornn.
And my question now is, so if you're Top Esports, obviously you have this kind of mid-game power spike, right, with the Ezreal, with the Akali, with Rek'Sai that's going to fall off a cliff later on. What are the objectives? At what points in the game do you really need to pressure to make sure that you keep the ball rolling and you don't fall off like we saw DMO do early on today?
I'd love to see Karsa pair up with Knight in the side lane, put some pressure onto Karsa, potentially find a gank onto him, try to get him to blow that flash and ultimate, and then turn to mid, see if you can create a play onto Azir. There is some dive potential there since you do have a Yuumi. But it's going to be playing through top and using the pressure that Knight has in a side lane.
See if Karsa's going to opt for that line of play. Is moving towards the top side of the jungle. And spots out a ward for himself as well. As Ozzy takes a tower shot as he's trying to get these plates down as quick as he can. He's got 30 seconds to do so. 369 just going to be soaking the pressure. Icon could be in trouble here because Karsa is, or not Karsa, sorry. Oh, look at that from Karsa. Dodges everything, walks away with his life, and gifts Jackie the kill.
Diving the mid lane, Munchables. Top Esports nailing the plan that was pretty much set out with their comp and the way it's heading right now. Great ult coming out from Karsa. I'm not sure if he predicted or if he just kind of got lucky, but regardless, looked beautiful. You secured the kill, and yeah, being able to potentially secure a mid lane turret. Beautifully
done from Karsa on the Rek'Sai. Gets to give the kill over towards his Ezreal as well. We talked about whether or not Ezreal will hit the 2-item mark before this Drake. That's certainly going to help.
Yeah, and he still has 2 minutes, and again, they're getting free damage down in mid. They feel fine. I love the lane setup coming out from TES, but on the side of OMG, doing well as well, right? Icon showing he can clear those waves just fine, allowed for SMLZ and Cole to get that turret down in the bottom side.
Rift Herald going to be spawning in less than 30 seconds, though. And you'd expect top esports not to let this one go without a fight, because they have been the ones in a decently commanding position so far. Although when you look at the gold, like, it's more of a compositional thing, right? When you look at the gold, they're even. In terms of dragons, they're actually down. How strong, like, realistically are top esports? Is it just the fact that OMG can't fight?
I feel like they win right now just for the fact that Curse still is not a champion. Like, Curse is so far behind. Still hasn't completed his first item. Okay, finally is able to get that Gunblade, but Knight already working on his blasting wand, and we see 369's at a fine, pretty much non-interactive PvE game where he's just getting all the items he wants. Which
is the ideal scenario for an Ornn, honestly. You get to just stack up that gold. He's 2 levels away from starting to forge those masterwork items. In the meantime, Karsa gets to start this Rift Herald off. Hacker is off in the brush over there, but he's going to be able to clear some vision. He knows he can't contest with this Herald. And Herald, one of those objectives that most of the time it is not worth suiciding to try and slice.
And overall, we talked about scaling. We talked about how these comps really play in different ways. I still feel like I favor the side of TS in the ultra late game. Sure, the other side has a Kayle, which is kind of like a Kassadin, which can just take over a game all on its own. But when you have a frontliner like an Ornn with a Yuumi, as well as an Ezreal and a Akali scaling up, I feel like they should be able to take down the members of OMG's backline before, you know, OMG can take out TS's frontline. You only have that Kayle ultimate for one member, dude.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing about Kayle, right, is you're essentially a super OP AD carry. You can just blast everyone that steps in front of you. But against things like Ezreal, things like Akali, it can quite often be difficult to find that situation where you can just free fire and can just melt through a team.
Like, that's the problem, right? We're not talking about this in an isolated vacuum. It's about how these fights are going to be set up in the mid-late game.
Nice dodge there from JackeyLove with the Arcane Shift.
But if we get to 6 items, he's in a side lane, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's the kind of conversation where it does come down to execution. Both teams have advantages to their compositions. Knight doesn't know it, but he's sitting on a ward, and it means that OMG can set this play up. Curse gonna slow him down. Icon looks for the Shurima Shuffle, knocks him back, but he's on the Twilight Shroud, followed by Hacker. Very nicely done. Perfect execution, though, and Knight might get away. No, he won't. Sonic Wave to finish him off.
That first Sonic Wave was so critical because we were seeing how Akali's so good at buying time for the rest of her team to follow up, but Hacker getting, you know, extremely good Sonic Wave, catching Knight out, making it so he has to leave the Twilight Shroud, and yeah, able to find that pick, and now they're on soul points.
Yeah, they're rewarded with an Ocean Drake and put to soul points. So suddenly, it's top esports that are going to be under pressure in 5 minutes' time, because scaling be damned. If you get an Ocean Soul, you're in a real good spot.
That is a true statement. That is some good analysis.
I don't know if I'd call it analysis.
Why not?
It's not a word I like to use.
Okay.
It's a stylistic thing.
That's it?
Oh dear. Well,
once again, I want to see Karsa playing around a side lane
like
with
the
Akali.
first series today broke us.
I don't know if it was a series as much it was just that one play.
Natural.
The one play by Natural. Oh god, it still breaks my heart. It's the part where I then had to try to build DMO back up.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I try and apply for a job simultaneously.
I do want to point out I am not applying for a job at DMO. I am an unbiased LPL caster.
That's true. As far as I know.
There might be some bias for Victory 5, not in the sense that I'm a fan of Victory 5 as much as I'm a fan of the memes.
I really hope, I don't know when Victory 5 and WE played this split, but I hope I get to cast it with you.
I love that the
So we can both be exceptionally biased.
For any of you that don't know what the Chinese broadcast does, they bring former pro players of the teams.
Yeah.
So they have Cat casting the former top esports games. I actually think that's insanely fun to have that sort of bias on. And for the Chinese side, it typically goes the opposite way, where the pro will be very, very harsh on their team. Like, what is this guy doing? He's terrible.
We've all seen the clips of Uzi watching RNG's games during spring and basically just roasting everyone.
What is Xiaohu doing? Like the worst mid laner in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Icon and Hacker move into the top side here. Don't think they'll be able to close the gap onto 369, but maybe with Cold here. Still has Flash, still has, obviously, Bellows Breath to avoid any kind of CC, so he's going to be fine. He is Ornn at the end of the day.
I'm really sad that we haven't seen Karsa pair up with Knight in the side lane, right, though? We have this Rek'Sai which wants to be aggressive. We have this play potential coming in from the Akali, and we're not really seeing much done with it.
Honestly, when you look at the composition from Top Esports, I was expecting them to be a bit more proactive than they have been. They've playing this one incredibly slowly and very, I guess, conservative early game out of them. And
even here, we see that TS's bot lane is constant pressure mid. We could see them lean towards the bot side while Knight's pressuring, with Karsa following up. 369 able to roam down as well and give Knight the ability to get some damage on that turret.
Looks like they might make a play towards the bottom side of the map here.
They also have TP advantage right now. Icon having no TP would not be able to follow a play that 369 could.
Curse, I thought was going to be in trouble, but Karsa's just going to set up around the mid lane instead, and Curse gets to free farm on the bottom side. Top, going to move in on towards SMLZ instead. Cold is in position, and he can get the Lantern out, so SMLZ clears the wave and slides away.
Honestly, I feel like it's a mischance from TS. We even saw that OMG were posturing for the opposite play, right? Hacker was hovering for Icon, allowing him to get plate damage.
Curse is in a whole bunch of trouble. Lost chapter, not quite going to connect. In the meantime, OMG have started their own objective as they kick this Baron off. True Shot Barrage onto everyone. 369 walks away.
That was a great flash from 369 to dodge out on that Emperor's Divide.
We nearly had some action there, Larry. Almost.
But the disappointing part is that action started from a mistake by Curse, not actually by TS, you know, making the proactive pressure play.
And bear in mind, JackeyLove walked over a ward to go towards that play.
Yes,
it's not like Curse did that ward right there.
That exact ward. Thank you once again, Observer.
Yeah, he literally walked past the ward straight down towards Curse, and Curse was like,
hey, bro.
I reckon I could get the grub first. All right, I got time. It's like the scene off The Incredibles. It's like, I got time. I got time.
Oh, my God.
So what I'm trying to say is Curse is Mr. Incredible. And he's going to pop off.
He's getting there.
Show his strength later in the game.
Exactly, right? We still have time.
I got time.
And we have Dragon up in 20 seconds.
And SMLZ is Frozo.
Wait, what?
They're just friends, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with this one. Onto the mid lane.
Just to note, 369 does have TP, so TS can follow up and fight for this Drake.
And this is going to be Soul Point here. This will be the Ocean Soul for OMG if they can get the Drake. They start things off. 369's behind them. True Shot Barrage, not the greatest. Knock up onto Curse, and only Curse from that. Now JackeyLove is behind everyone. Knight is going to be here as well, and the Dragon resets. SMLZ drops a turret over the wall. JackeyLove is able to get so much poke down before this fight has even begun. Actually, Arcane shifts in aggressively here.
OMG have no real engage, right? You either need Hacker to make some kind of outplay, or you need Cold to hit a death sentence.
Oh, and he goes, and he's straight onto JackeyLove. You wanted the outplay from Hacker. There you have it. Knight has to flash away. Karsa now chased off as well. And OMG, they might just get themselves an Ocean Soul.
That was absolutely beautiful from Hacker, delivering on such a slim win condition, but pulling it out.
And now the fight really kicks off. Knock up onto everyone. SMLZ kept alive with the Divide Justice, but now turning things around. Curse free firing, and they might just find everything for themselves. Double kill for SMLZ, make it a triple, and why not an Ocean Soul on top?
That was such a great knockup coming in from 369, but it didn't matter. The fact that it's still a 4v5, you have a ton of AoE damage on the side of OMG. And again, they had to execute on the smallest of micro windows. JackeyLove even gave him the chance by Eing in aggressively, just great to see OMG take advantage. And the fact that we were praising TES as the best team in the world.
Yeah.
They were missing out on macro plays on the bot side. Now we're getting a Baron.
I said I didn't have anything to get excited about OMG over. Well, apparently Hacker is that something, because that was beautiful. 100% kill participation on the Lee Sin, and he set his team up for a win.
That's great. And again, you've already pointed out how they have the Ocean Soul now. So Ocean Soul coming in. SMLZ is ultra fed, already on his way to that 3rd crit item. SMLZ as well, going to be hitting like a truck. And we already saw all of the Kayle damage. Just look at this, getting the ward set down. JackeyLove going a bit too far forward.
Clean.
Great flash. Like, clean is the best word to describe it. And here we do see a good knockup coming in from 369. You hit everyone up, but Curse flashing out, not flashing out, just walking out, I guess, aggressively, able to lay down all this damage from the Kayle, and doesn't matter that Knight's doing his best to make it work. You have too much damage from SMLZ, Icon, and Curse.
And Curse with a really great ultimate onto SMLZ to keep the Aphelios safe during all of that. Now it's OMG very much with their foot on the throttle. They're 3,000 gold ahead. They've got this Baron.
And going back, we saw the makings of how TES would win that team fight. You pointed out how JackeyLove was laying down all that poke unanswered because you have Death Sentence or you have Insect coming out from Hacker. Those are your 2 options. So the ability to come out ahead was there for TES, but OMG reading and execution is not something I thought I'd say.
No, Hacker specifically, honestly. I think Hacker deserves all of the credit for that fight. If OMG wins and Hacker doesn't get the MVP, I'm going to be heartbroken, honestly, because that play individually, and it's not just that play was good individually. It's the time at which he's made that play, because it opened them up for this Ocean Soul that then opens up the rest of the game.
It's something that we don't talk about in League of Legends as much, but I know is an important concept in CSGO. Is like being clutch, right? Being able to make that important play at the important moment, because there's obviously more pressure on you. It's harder to do. You're focused on more things. So I'm glad Hacker's showing up in that way.
I'm excited for Hacker. I'm excited for this Lee Sin pick that he's brought out against Karsa as well, taking that Lee Sin away. But important to mention, JackeyLove has actually gone for the Triforce this game. He realizes he's got to carry right now. Can't go for the Iceborne Gauntlet. He needs to get all of the damage he can.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see. And on the other side, SMLZ going for the Death Stance, which is just becoming so normal on pretty much everyone, with everyone realizing
do you build AD? Have a Death Stance.
Exactly. Becoming pretty much unkillable, especially if you do have Sustain naturally built into your kit, which Aphelios obviously does.
I remember when the Death Dance change first came in, I was like, this item looks really, really good now. And I can't remember who I was talking to, but in fact, all of Reddit, loads of people were saying that it was terrible. I was like, this is a better version of the original item.
I didn't expect it on ADs, but I remember I said on broadcast when it came out that this is a much better version for Aatrox and champions like this.
Could have a fight on our hands here. OMG decide not to force the issue too hard. The Baron has fallen off, Hacker knocked up. What's Chapter used though? Death Sentence goes wide now. JackeyLove needs to get some of this poke down before the fight truly kicks off. And Karsa, we're getting to the point in the game where it's falling into the classic Rek'Sai issue of struggling to get into the fight.
Still, they're just going to be able to siege up with the Calibrum coming out from Icon.
369 locked up here. Might be able to trade for Hacker though. That's going to be Kayle's ultimate on cooldown now. SMLZ there, and Karsa's found his way in. Trades himself, jungler for jungler. And that is going to be that.
And ultimately, TES do still have a ton of poke coming out from the... Ooh.
Good effort from Icon. Wanted the Emperor's Divide. JackeyLove, Arcane shifts away.
And he still does have the flash, so that's why Icon doesn't want to overcommit with his own flash.
And we saw all of the poke out of JackeyLove before. There's an Ocean Soul now. It's not as easy to get that poke down. They're going to be able to heal on through. 369's gone in. He's trying to get onto Cold and SMLZ, but they walk away and keep themselves safe. JackeyLove... JackeyLove is going to be topping the damage numbers at the end of this game, that's for sure. It's just he can't finish any kills off. But
that's always Ezreal, right? You're always going to be topping the damage numbers because it's so easy to just throw out these Qs, but like you said, and there we go, we even see even the heal coming out from Kayle, not even just the Ocean Soul.
And Curse just hit level 16, so if it wasn't hard already for top esports, it just got harder.
I also love earlier when you said, you know, like scaling be damned, we have an Ocean Soul.
Well, yeah.
And that's definitely shining through right now.
But, you know, to compound on that statement, even when you consider the scaling, there's still a Kayle and an Aphelios on this team.
And an Azir. Again, the only thing they're really missing is a front line and a consistent way to engage, right? Those are the two things that are very annoying about OMG's comp. But when your composition is ahead and you're able to just push onto their turrets and make them come into you, it's not as big of a deal about having a lack of engage when the threat of you taking their structures is engage.
And now we're in one of these games and we're in one of those moments where having this elusive thing that people refer to as star power on your team really matters. Because as you rightly say, Hacker showing exactly that to get the lead for OMG. And the question will be, can anyone from top esports step up, be the clutch player, be the one to somehow make a miracle play that can turn this game around?
That is going to be what we're going to have to see. And going into this game with objectives, if TS are able to ever get on an objective first as a 5-man set-down vision, you look at OMG's comp, they don't actually have anyone who could safely face check brushes, right? You do have the Lantern, so it is a bit easier. You send Hacker in, have the Lantern set up, but you could also get bursted down extremely fast by something like a Rek'Sai and Akali if Curse isn't there to save someone with his ultimate.
Curse is split pushing right now, but he does have TP. Immediately, JackeyLove and Karsa start this Elder Drake off. 369 is behind them.
And Ornn does not want to flank. Ornn needs to be standing in front of his carries.
He's clearing out this mid wave. Teleport was used by Curse. Now OMG are the ones to get on this Drake themselves, pulling it out of the pit here, but I think they've decided they don't want to DPS this.
Actually, Ornn doesn't necessarily need to stand in front of his carries because Akali's going to jump in with him, and JackeyLove has a Yuumi, but still not a big fan of the flanking Ornn. TS want to fight with all of OMG in front of them.
And TES are basically just saying, come at me, because JackeyLove is going to continuously start this Elder Drake up. 369 has his teleport.
And like you pointed out already, JackeyLove's poke isn't enough. And typically, Knight would want a good flank angle to get on someone like SMLZ. But definitely doesn't have that right now. Ooh, is he going to solo Baron?
Can he solo Baron? I guess he's got Ocean Soul.
No, he can't solo Baron. Well, that looks like that was answered.
It's reset itself.
But he's not going to solo Baron because he's got his Void Curse.
Okay, so they're going to two-man Baron. In the meantime,
TS need to be decisive now, but I don't think they know. Okay, they know.
True Shot Barrage. This takes a huge chunk, but they're going to be able to finish this Baron off. Top esports have to pull the trigger on this fight. Knockups onto everyone lost chapter, but SMLZ flashes away. Cold doesn't get the hook, but they've walked away with it. They've got away. Daylight robbery right here, and now Elder Drake for top esports. If they can find it, but OMG, they could just run at the base.
They can. Still, you're going to give over Elder, which has the execute. Doesn't sound like the best idea. Going for the fight is what I prefer to see from OMG.
That's exactly what you're going to see as they move in here. Lantern to keep eyes on this Elder Drake. In goes 369, but he's CC'd and just not tanky enough.
And Knight was nowhere to be seen. And TS just give up. We saw Karsa just get out of the pit.
I think this might be all she wrote for this game, honestly, Lyric, because I don't see a way that top can get back into this fight unless Karsa or somebody can find some kind of miracle still. JackeyLove has his True Shot Barrage. Knight flashes away from the Emperor's Divide from Icon. But he's just forced completely away from everything. Hacker now found by JackeyLove. Just doesn't feel like they have the damage.
OMG just don't want to risk the chance of a steal, but I agree with you, right? Doesn't feel like they have the damage. All the sustain coming out from the Ocean Soul. You have the kill right along with you, so Knight having a really hard time to assassinate anyone.
A little bit of damage out of JackeyLove, but Curse is going to chase him down, and he's on the wrong side of this play. Karsa behind the team. Maybe something can happen here. But OMG are on the cusp of taking game number 1 right now. They've got this Baron still for another minute and 30 seconds. SMLZ gets the Dark Passage to keep himself safe.
Let's also point out the fact that OMG do have an 8K gold lead.
Yep.
So that is a big part of where this damage discrepancy is coming from as well. Again, we think back to 10 minutes ago. Fights were on very even footing, and TS were coming out ahead for a while.
So, just let's talk about this Akali pick again for a second, because this is the third or fourth time we've seen it, this split in the LPL, and it hasn't looked good basically at all. What has Knight done wrong in this game? How is it meant to be used to can it still pop off? Is there still a time for it to win in this game?
against what OMG have and how they're playing it out, I don't think so, right? They have the Kayle ultimate, they have the Ocean Soul, you have so much sustained on Aphelios as well. The big problem with OMG's comp, right, was being able to find engages onto TS, and TS's formation is just so well. But OMG are so far ahead, right, they can just constantly push, and TS need to go into them.
And it's great, honestly, just to see OMG performing so consistently, because consistency is the biggest criticism we've had of this squad. This split, it's not even been a matter of consistency, it's been a matter of showing up at all. They look like they showed up. They look like they're prepared as well. This is a great draft out of them, and it's a great performance across this game to slowly but surely win the macro game against top esports.
And they've been playing very, very patiently ever since they got the lead themselves, right? They didn't risk the Elder getting stolen by a Karsa Smite. They're taking it minion wave by minion wave.
Speaking of Karsa, though, he's coming around the back alongside Knight here. This could be the fight, but I think potentially decided, no, they're not going to back away from this one. They're going for this Dark Passage, can't be taken by SMLZ. Kayle's ult used already, and SMLZ's been caught! Aphelios down, and now onto the rest of the team. But they can't quite get in because there's an Azir tower in the way. OMG holding fast here, staying as a group. Top Esports would love to continue this fight. 369 goes in, the rest of the team can't quite follow up. Azir tower now falls, and that means Karsa can make the play onto Cold here as Hacker tries to protect the rest of his team. The healing is there, Curse still surviving. There is still a Kayle, you have to remember that, but Hacker being chipped away at. And Top Esports are 5 members strong. Double kill for JackeyLove as they try and chase this Kayle down. But JackeyLove will not be stopped. He goes over the wall, as you know he always does. True shot barrage just to force them away.
Once again, TS being able to mechanically outplay their opponents. That all started off with TS baiting out.
Oh. Now we're going to see TPs coming on through, though. Knight's here to try and defend, and there's no Kayle ultimate right now. Knight can fight a kill. Wait, what? It's back off cooldown already, but 369 has arrived as well. And Curse will not be able to end the game just yet. Elder Dragon goes the way of OMG. Curse gets himself a turret, but that's going to be all that he gets.
What is this?
I say that. He's still going right now. He's kiting them out. Brittle is there, and 369 gets the kill.
This is absolutely ridiculous. He wasn't even a 4-item kill at that point. He just picked up his Rage Blade. And all of this started from TS baiting out the Kayle ultimate onto SMLZ originally, right? They baited that out. They didn't overcommit. They just used the Call of the Forge God. Then after that came out, they all jumped on SMLZ. The coordination was very well. And then they just took it a bit slow, right? Waited for their cooldowns to come back up, then coordinate the engage with 369. And here it is, right? Call of the Forge God comes out. We see the Yuumi ult as well. And just waiting for that ultimate to go down. Now they all jump in together, take down SMLZ, back off, take it a bit slow, wait for those cooldowns to come back up, and wait once again for 369 to jump in, and then let Knight and Karsa join him with as well.
So beautifully done.
They out-mechanicked.
They were rewarded so heavily as well with an Elder Drake off the back of this fight.
Yeah, and it's just great to see that TS have options of winning out through having a better macro game. Sometimes didn't feel like it this game, especially mid-game, or just relying on mechanics and trying to force out enemy mistakes like we saw right there.
And this is exactly why people are saying that this is such a strong team. It's so holistic in that they have so many ways to win. They haven't won yet, though. Let's bear in mind that Ocean Soul is still going to be a thorn in their side for the rest of the game. They've got Elder buff for another minute and 20 seconds.
And this is the big hindrance, right? Because imagine had they not lost that team fight, not let OMG get to this point. Well, then in these siege scenarios, they'd feel a lot better with JackeyLove just whittling them down. We also see how much harder it is for OMG to fight back when TS are on the objectives first. And again, they're relying on Death Sentence or Hacker.
Hacker's here. He's already made one miracle play this game. If he could steal this Baron, it would seal the deal. He can't quite do it, though, and that's Kayle's ult used already in the fight. Knight's off to the side. He's not going to be willing to go in, and I don't blame him on that one. But
Definitely
Baron taken.
Yeah, exactly. So TS once again getting another objective, but you know, when we came in, we said scaling was going to be close. It wasn't going to be black or white for either team, but maybe underestimating this Kayle a bit. Curse has looked pretty scary with just 3 and 4 items. Once he gets to that 5 and 6 item mark, I mean, he's at 5 items. Yeah. When he picks up his last item, going to be quite scary for TS. I'd expect him to go towards the death cap. Will this game last that long? I'm not sure.
Probably not, honestly.
Probably not, right? But
oh, JackeyLove has taken the gold lead. He's been behind the entire game. And he has now just about squeezed himself about a 4 gold lead in the AD carry role. Although, we're getting to the point in the game where the gold leads are going to stop mattering.
I'm just saying, we've seen TS win really dominant games, like Rogue Warriors Game 2 or in their last series against JDG. But we've also seen in Rogue Warriors Game 1, as well as here, that it doesn't matter if it becomes a slugfest that goes to 50 minutes. TS are willing to play the long game and wait for those mistakes and try to force those mistakes out of you.
And we've also seen OMG go to these really long games that they should win, like their series against EDG.
Shout out to everyone in chat for EDG Game 2. We're back, boys.
Yeah, it might just be yet another catastrophic throw here from OMG. And I was so excited. But it's not over. It's by no means over. They can still win this game. Honestly, at this point, I really, really want OMG to win this game, just so there's some hope for OMG fans.
Yeah, I want to see Kayle get the 6 items.
I don't know if I go that far. I never want to see that. We do have this Baron though. Top Esports going to be able to have this for another minute. That's the final tier 2 going to be knocked down by 369 in the bottom lane.
Gold is even, Munchables.
Oh.
Gold is even.
Not quite. There's an 1,000 gold lead in favor of Top Esports.
So we're at a 9K gold swing then, because TS were 8K gold down when we last talked about gold.
That's a while ago now.
That was probably like 10 minutes ago.
What a way to start this series, by the way. Hey, at least OMG have showed up, because this is not what I expected out of OMG. Even if they end up losing this one, honestly, I'm impressed that they had such a great early game and were able to play this so slowly and methodically. It will be a shame if they can't win, though, after how well they played the early game. I guess it was more the mid-game than the early game.
Yeah, and they're still having a hard time of getting this turret down, but JackeyLove coming now, yep, should be able to go down. We're going to have Knight TP in as well, and they're going to
Oh, that's a hook out to JackeyLove. Gets away with his life, barely, but that's all that matters. Now, True Shot Barrage was already used, going to be on cooldown. 369 doesn't have the stats, and he will go down. Knight! No, it was Karsa falls as well. JackeyLove and Knight, the last two standing alongside their pet cat, but the Ocean Soul is going to mean that this damage just isn't enough. OMG, maybe they found their miracle fight right now, because Elder Drake is going to be spawning in 28 seconds.
And JackeyLove might still be alive, but JackeyLove is the reason that 369 and Karsa end up going down. Twice this game, Munch. Twice JackeyLove has been caught out and given OMG room.
Uh-oh. Hacker has found him. JackeyLove jumps away with the Arcane Shift. And that's a Yuumi GLP.
That's a GLP, yeah.
I like that.
I like it as well, because, again, we talked about Engage so many times this game coming out from OMG. Just another way to stop OMG from getting on top of you.
It's a creative build path. You don't often get to see so many items on supports on a lot of games. So
we don't usually hit 42-minute games.
No.
And still growing, right? Can be a 59-minute game. Hey, I'm ready to take this as long as it goes.
I'm right there with you, Lyric. Let's go. Come on, OMG. I just want to see OMG take a game off of Top Esports. What a statement that would make. After they've started this split 0-2 EDG, 1-2 V5, 0-2 RNG, the expectation for them coming into this series was, well, there was no expectation.
And our expectation for JackeyLove now is, we came into the series saying, this is the best team in the world. JackeyLove made this the best team in the world, and we've seen him be the one to get caught out twice on an Ezreal, along with the Yuumi.
And it doesn't feel like it's a, like,
OMG aren't
it doesn't feel
up,
necessarily
right?
like he's misplaying. It feels like he's being disrespectful.
Yeah.
It feels like he's saying, you can't touch me.
He's trying to, like, play on the knife's edge, like, push his limits.
Yeah.
But it's giving OMG the room to work with.
You know you're a confident player when you're limit testing on the stage. But I don't know if it's necessarily limit testing.
It's not limit
more
testing,
just like,
right? Yeah. He's trying to win. He's trying to play the best that he could.
He's trying to min-max. He's trying to absolutely carry.
Yes, exactly.
Hacker takes a huge chunk there, but he will survive. These Azir turrets have been so frustrating for Top
just
Esports.
look at Hacker. Hacker was at 25% HP 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. That Ocean Soul feels pretty great. And he's going to get
like
heals from
that
Karsa
Ocean
as well.
Soul is probably going to be the decider of this game, because it doesn't matter if OMG don't have engage anymore. If 369 engages, they lose.
Hold forces the engage, and that means the inhib goes down. They're backing away. JackeyLove jumps forward once again.
It doesn't even matter if he hits the Mystic shots anymore, though.
No. And that's crazy, because Ezreal is one of these champions that you expect to do insane late game damage on towards the Baron, though, for OMG. Bear in mind, they've got this Elder buff. Top Esports cannot fight them right now for another 40 seconds. Oh no, Karsa's been found. He's out of position. Getting chased on down here. He doesn't have an Ocean Soul. He can't just sustain through this. JackeyLove's in trouble, but Hacker can't quite get the kickback.
Oh.
He's going to use his stopwatch at the same time as the Divine Intervention. Maybe this is the fight for top, but Karsa is still going strong. Icon pushes everybody to safety. That is not the play.
God.
Knight goes back in, turns himself golden, keeps himself alive, but he finally goes down. Karsa can't get into the backline. 369 knock up onto everyone, but the minions are blocking JackeyLove. He can't do any damage. Nobody can follow up. Double kill for Karsa. And OMG have done it. It wasn't the cleanest game in the world, but damn it, it's a win, and it's against Top Esports. For OMG, this is a massive victory, and one for the history books if they can turn it into a series. They're just looking for extra kills as they take game 1.